All right, YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and do my review of three different headsets. I don't know how well my voice is coming through right now at the moment, but sorry about me not having. I'm not going to do a conventional YouTube video where, you know, I'm doing a cut and edit. I'm just going to go ahead and review them on the fly. Um, all right, so we're going to do a versus video of the DT990s, the AKG K712 Pros, and a DT9 1990 Pro headset. Basically, do kind of like a versus headset. I'm doing a versus video on these, but I don't know. It's really hard to say. It's just kind of a hard video to do because if you don't have the same equipment that I have and whatnot, it's going to be hard for you to, be the judge of that. But if you're using a PC, I think that I do have some pretty good points for you guys that are looking for headsets. So the cheapest of the headsets that I've got now is the DT990 Pros. Okay. Next most expensive is the AKG K712 Pros. Very light, nice headset. It goes for $388. The DT990s go for about $160 to $180 depending on where you get them. And these retail for $600, and you can find them on sale for about $525 right now. And I've heard of them getting below $500. Hello, Shannon. And YouTube, I'm doing this live, so I don't have any cut and editing going on, so you just got to bear with me on this. All right, so the first headset that I've got that we're going to do a comparison on is the DT990s. They're the cheapest of my headsets. The build on them's a little bit more plasticky. Got a little metal rod here that's holding up the headset itself attached to the cups. Plastic, very, very, very comfortable headset. A lot of people complain about maybe these little wires that come out here and that they're afraid that they're going to pull out. If you're just careful with your headset, you'll be fine. Another slight complaint that you may have with this is that it's attached to the headset. You can't unplug it, which is not a big deal of mine because I take care of my stuff. It's okay. Kind of a fake leathery stuff, but very comfortable. Very light, very comfortable. You do need an amplifier to control these. To drive these, they're actually they require a lot of power to drive these things. Oh, you're picking up your PC tomorrow. Nice. This is probably one of the nicest headsets I think you can buy for your money. For $160 to $180, you can get them on. They are fantastic for music, games, and movies. Just love this headset. They sound phenomenal. They got a great bass range in them. And you can level this out really nicely as far as EQing them out. If you EQ these, what I'm going to do in the description below is I'm going to make it to where you can download the APO. It's a two-step process. You download your APO and then you download the PC Equalizer. So it gives you your sound quality output that you're looking for. You got 10 to 20 bands that you can pick from. You see a little demonstration of it off to the right over here. And you can see that my setup down below is the SM, SL, SU9, and SH9. And the amplifier is a THX certified amplifier and a 32-bit DAC. So it's fantastic quality of sound. Lots of power. I don't know that you can buy a better headset for gaming and listening and all around. If you're a streamer and you use a PC to listen to your stuff, I really don't know that you could find a better headset for this. For the money. You can get the 32-bit DAC made by Sound Blaster Pro. Cost you $140 to $160. I've seen it for 120 on sale for Christmas, but I wouldn't expect to see a sale like that all the time. Hard to beat. Very nice build. Fantastic headset. Sound quality is amazing. If you were to put that up against this here, I personally did not like the AKG K712s for gaming. At least the gaming that I was using it for to hear footsteps in Warzone for Call of Duty. I felt like I had to make the curve a little bit too funky. Uh, and the sound quality was kind of weird for me to hear the footsteps. Distance on it is fantastic. As far as distancing goes, some of the best distancing you'll get in headsets. I found it on sale for $388. Fucking great ass deal for such a high quality headset. The build on it's very different. You may look at this and go, "Man, that's a cheap looking headset," but the plastic is actually pretty durable, extremely light. No metal in it really, except for the speakers themselves. You got this leather pad that adjusts automatically when you put it on your head. The cushions is made from a memory foam, like your beds. This thing is just so light, and they cover your ears, and they give you this distance feel in your sound that you don't get in the 990s at all. Nowhere near that distance. It is more distance than the 1990s. I feel like the 1990s are a lot more in your ear, more so than um, the 990s. The 990s have a pretty good distance on them as well. Some of the most fantastic gaming on those 990. I love it. But if you were going to use this for just pure music and watch movies, this is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love this headset for that. And the thing that you will find is I listened to these headsets right out of the box on a neutral setting, and I felt like that was a big mistake because I'm not playing when I say this. I had the 990s for a while, and I gamed with them, listened to everything, and then I went over to these here thinking, oh man, these are going to be just the best ever, and listened to it neutral, flat, and I was highly disappointed. The bass range, when they said that there was very little bass in this, that's a kind of a overstatement. There is zero bass in this. There's none. There almost no bass at flat neutral. You're not going to get anything out of them. But if you EQ them to where let's see my EQ curve, I'll show you what I did. I put them in a box, and then 2 hours after listening to them, I said, you know what? I'm done. I am done with this headset. Put them in a box, didn't listen to them. And I asked for the return for these immediately. And I was laying in bed. It was about a week later, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna put up with it. I need to know if I can EQ these. And so what I did was I got the APO and then put the EQ back on. The reason why I took it off to begin with is because it was interacting funky with my setup. I had the EQ already installed and everything, and then I put the SML, SU9, and H on there to listen to, and it interacted very funny. It wasn't bringing out the sound like I was supposed to, and it was messing with everything. So I uninstalled it and just had my regular PC EQ. And I was laying in bed and I was like, you know what? In the history of me buying audio equipment, I've never not EQ'd anything, no matter how good the speaker was. And I've paid a lot of money for a lot of equipment throughout my years. I've had some of the best home audio. I've had some of the best, car stereo systems in the world. And yeah, I never didn't EQ them. So this was something that I thought was like, why am I being an why am I listening to a lot of these audio snobs out there saying that, oh, you need to listen to it on flat so you can hear exactly how they intended for you to hear them? And I was like, you know what? I've never not done that. I've never not EQ'd before. So I EQ'd these. And once I EQ'd these, for whatever I listen to, movies, and I listen to rap and rock and whatever. I listen to a lot of different things. Once I EQ'd these, they turned into a different animal. All of the things that they said that you could produce on this, like from down to your 10 hertz that you can't hear, obviously. Anything below 21 hertz you can't hear, and anything above 20K you can't hear. They said that you can hear from 10 to 40K on these. And so your range within these speakers are amazing, but yet I wasn't getting that. I was getting that tin can sound that sounded awful off of these right off the flat, and the flat neutral sound, and it just sounded awful. Those DT990s were just blowing it away. So I kept putting my $160 headset on, and then once I EQ'd these, I couldn't get enough of them. So light on your head, feeling so comfortable. These are probably one of the most, if not the most comfortable headset you could ever put on your head. For the money, at $388, you get that distance that you get. It's very similar to what you have in your home theater systems. And it puts sounds in your ears that you would never really pick up outside. These things make your music and your movies sound so different than what you're used to hearing, and they are a winner at $388, EQ'd out. I personally would never listen to these with at a neutral state, never. So if you do some EQing and play with it and figure out some of the settings you would like differently for your movies and your music and stuff, these will impress you and blow you away. And the sound quality is fantastic. The distance is fantastic. I personally don't like these for gaming too much. I felt like I had to change them too much in the EQ settings to where it was just not that great. The DT990s, though, on the other hand, acted more like a closed back for gaming. And even though they're not closed, they're open. It's an open back headset. It gave you more of a sense of closed back, and the sound quality while you were playing your games, you didn't feel like you were compromising sound quality of your games just to hear the footsteps and people approaching and stuff like that. Fantastic. Highly recommend these headsets to anyone that wants to listen to music and watch movies. Awesome, awesome headset. Now, if you're not playing games like first person shooters and you're just listening to stuff, this would be an awesome headset. Now, I was specifically going for a particular set of frequencies so I could hear footsteps, and this just didn't bring in the quality. It sounded it sounded like the drivers couldn't handle the distance, or the what should I say, the differences in sounds that I had to make to. I just didn't get that sound quality from it. It almost it acted like it struggled to create that. Highs are fantastic. Everything that you love about a good headset is in this one EQ'd out. Just don't prefer the first person shooters myself. I've heard people say, "Oh man, I can hear everything." Maybe it was just game specific that just wasn't so good. I put it on a high boost on Warzone, and I wasn't a big fan. This, we're going to talk about these. These are, even though they're 250 ohm, and those are 250 ohm, and they're considered a harder driver to push compared. That one, I believe, is what I want to say that the 712s were 80 ohm or 60 ohm. I can't remember which one. But I know that it's an easy enough driver to where you can actually plug it into your cell phone and drive it. You could not do that with the DT990s. So if you got a cell phone or devices that don't really require much to push, those are going to be sufficient enough on regular devices without an amplifier. But remember, amplifiers turn them into a different animal, which is fantastic. The DT1990s, on the other hand, are twice, well, I don't want to say twice as loud. They are louder than the 990s. Even though they're the same ohm as far as resistance goes and how much power is required, these are louder. They, at the same volume, I noticed when I swapped them back and forth, They're loud. Now, the 990s feel like there's a slightly better distance away from your ear sound. This is right on your ear. This will be right in your ears. Highest details, the highs are fantastic. A lot of people complain about the highs in these. You can adjust the highs. If you have an EQ, fuck it. That's what audio equipment's for. Get your EQ. Don't be this audio snob like, oh my god, I have to listen to my stuff on neutral because we have to hear them the exact way they intended to hear these speakers. And be that audio snob that is ridiculous. These are fucking fantastic. Shit you've never heard before in your games, you will hear in these. You will know exactly the distance. Like, okay, so I'm gonna give another for instance on Warzone. The distance on these. You will know the exact distance, and this gives you the limitations of what the developer has done sound wise in the game, because you will know that what they've done is they give you a perfect circle of sound around your character, and anything that touches that sound barrier, that wall, anything past that will be an immediate cut off of sound, and you'll know it. And once they touch that sound barrier, you know it, and you can hear them very distinctly over any other headset I've ever heard. So they will be in your ear. In fact, I'm used to audio headsets, and the footsteps were so pronounced in this headset that I got confused on what was going on because I could hear so many footsteps around me at one time. I had to I had to relearn how to hear things in Warzone because of this headset. And it also taught me the range that people could be heard with the second they step in it. Now, that's what this headset does that I'm going to explain. Is this will tell you exactly the best part of what was recorded and the worst, and it will also give you the limitations of like your games and audio, because I've never had a headset where I knew exactly and precisely the distance for which they stepped outside of the sound barrier. There is no dissipation in sound. The producers literally didn't do a good enough job in the sound quality area, because you know that once they hit that wall, they're outside of it and you can't hear them anymore. There is no dissipation of sound. There's no a distance on their sound. There's no reflection of sound when they're tromping through the buildings way off at a distance where the sound would reflect off those walls and come over to you. It doesn't have it. This teaches you that very quickly. This is a headset that will give you the limitations of just about anything, and it will give you even the shape of the room that you're in, that they were recording in. Everything is hearable in this. What this headset's designed for is to give you the exact replication of what the developer was meant for you to hear, down to the T. I love to EQ this headset because I get to listen to music the way I love to hear music. And don't ever let anybody tell you, oh, well, you need to listen to this on neutral because that's the way they intended to do it. Like, no, EQ the sounds the way you want to. Draw out those highs more. See, they always complain about the harshness of these highs that are in this headset. And you're like, if they have the capability of being so high and so pinpoint and so piercing, they also have the ability to be dialed back some. If they have the ability to play that bass range that's so crazy in your ear, and that low frequency and every frequency in between for your bass, then they also have the ability to be toned down or brought up more for what you want. The vocals are fucking fantastic in this. Now, this is why this is a hard review for me to do a versus on all three of them, because I feel like they sit in a very good. I don't. I can't say like, oh man, I just Now the headset I would personally buy is the one that or keep is the DT1990s. They have the all range that I'm looking for. I can play games with them, and then I can turn around and listen to music and movies with them, and they sound fantastic. They don't quite have the distancing that the 990s have, but they're nowhere near like the space that this thing puts out. I mean, this is spacious, like home theater speaker spacious. You won't get that, but I mean, let's be honest here. All I have to do is click on my process here, and I can widen that sound if I want. If I want to expand that sound to be wider in that headset, I have that ability to change that through processing. So if I want to widen it some and make it equal to those AKGs, I can. It's not limited on the expectations of them. Uh, I love the 1990s because I can do everything with them. I can watch my movies, I can listen to my music. I can play my games with them in the highest of clarity that I've ever heard in my life, especially on the equipment that I have. The 712s I feel like are limited to movies and music, and a lot of people are limited to that. They that's what they do. They watch their movies. It comes with a 9-foot cable. It comes every one of these minus the 990s, connected to the cable. You've got the coiled cables there. The build on the 1990s is better than anything. Of course, it's all metal. It's very sturdy. You probably slam it up against the wall and be okay. The 990s are light. They're lighter. The K12s are the most comfortable headset I've ever put on my head. They're so light you don't even know they're there. So I would say that if you're just looking to not spend a lot of money, and this is where I'm going to conclude. Personally, I want the 1990s because I want the best of both worlds. I want that music, movies, gaming, all in one headset. Kind of heavier. I notice them after 10 to 12 hours. I notice them big time. If I wasn't looking to spend a lot of money, but I want the sound quality of the 1990s, and I know that I just love that sound that's coming from the 1990s. The 990 Pros on a $140 bi-amplifier 32-bit DAC by Sound Blaster Pro, it's gonna rock your world. It's gonna be like the best shit you've ever heard compared to a closed back gaming headset. If you go out and buy a gaming headset compared to these, they don't even hold water. I've had so many different headsets. It's not even funny. And these things are phenomenal. You will not be disappointed. The K712s. If you're just looking to listen to music and watch movies, the K712s are absolutely amazing. I don't think you could lose on any one of these headsets that I'm showing you here. Me personally, I'm an audio guy. I want the 1990s. If you want that music and movies, K712s. If you want that all-round headset, but you don't want to spend that much money, 990s all day. Now, I am going to do a review here soon. I'm going to be getting a new headset. I'm looking to get the HD660S's by Sennheiser. And I hear that the Sennheiser is phenomenal. So I want to hear that. I want to know. But I will tell you that these three headsets that I've got here today are better than any gaming headset that I've ever used, period. So, yeah, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording here for YouTube. Thank you for coming in. Like, subscribe. Come to my Twitch channel. Thank you.